installed?
Like, I don't. Computer's slowing down. So it's Preferred Reefer month. It's May, right?
Yeah. Cards and stuff like that, but no, you made it big.
Well,
you made it real big.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, like it was 2 days before May, I went to the marketing director and said, "You know what we should do?" And I went home with my wife, and she asked me what I did today, and I said, like, I screwed up everybody's day.
Dude,
except for the reefers out there.
2 days lead time.
Yeah. So what do we do? I went to Bob and our accounting guy, or the CFO here, and we also got approved. So it's 10x rewards for everybody. That means like all the BRS products, like a whole bunch of other stuff, and you get like $10, 10 times your rewards coming back to you on all that stuff.
Yeah, so. Usually it's just once an entire month, like the first Saturday of every month is the 10 times rewards, where go buy all your stuff and then it's essentially like getting 10% back on a lot of things in rewards points. You get the whole month of May, and I've been signing cards religiously.
I mean, this guy right here. So if you find one of these guys in your order, like it's snuck inside the catalog.
You gotta open the catalog to see it.
It's free, dude. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm gonna say it, just even though like Willy Wonka's probably gonna sue me or something. But it's like the golden ticket, man. You got you put it in there, you might win like your whole order for free.
The whole time I've been putting these in the orders, the golden ticket song's been running through my head.
I know, you can't help it.
I can't get it out.
So it's not really gold ticket. It's a Preferred Reefer winner, but you know.
I write in gold pen if it's any consolation.
Yeah, close enough. All right, so hey, you 4 of these a day, all month long. Which, I mean, for 30 days, you was like, what, 120 of them? So 120 people get your orders refunded back to you. So not only just the reward points, which everybody wins, you got to sign up for Preferred Reefer by clicking the footer link. But
it's pretty cool. I go back there and I say at a random time chosen by the random generator, and I say, okay, guys, shut down the line, stop shipping everything. I'm gonna start putting golden tickets in.
Damn. Boom. And so then also on top of that, wish lists. So you don't have to buy anything, man. Up to $500, you go ahead and put stuff in your wish list as a Preferred Reefer.
Oh yeah.
And we'll pluck it out.
Yeah, like for example, I've had some people with $100 in their wish list. I've had somebody with like $19 in their wish list, but those total we've given away in the last 6 days.
Is it? It's only been.
So it's May 6th, so I've done it 6 times.
No, we only started. Yeah, we did do it.
All
right. So May 6th, man, starting on the 1st, we gave away a total of $5,979
so far.
It's
only 6 days in,
and I bet you that the wish lists are going to get bigger and bigger as time goes on.
Oh yeah, 5,000.
If there's less than $500 in your wish list, you're messing it up. I mean, you're making Bob happy, but you're messing it up. So yeah, man. So I'm not going to name off every last thing in here, but you know what? I mean, if you're listening, you may not have to wait for this to open up. I'm going to ruin the surprise. Like, spoiler alert. So close your ears if you place an order. Or maybe we could hear. So Chad Perry, $178. We got Shanair O'Hara, $156.99. David Rasmussen, $338.18. Brad Bartles, $408.81. Nathan Dodge, $33.68. Henry Chambers, $353.08.
Yeah.
Craig Levinson, $95.12. Kevin Keel, $99.95. Robert Richard, $209.79.
Big one.
Mark Banks, $292.09. Kelly Neal, $156.33. Daniel Lipton, $365.99. It'd be super awesome if one of you's watching. I mean, what are the chances? I don't know. Well, we'll see.
Yell out your name in the comments.
Mike Sherbert, $140.16. Carrington Bates, $66.81. Wesley Haynes, $158.48. Brian Rickert, $30.50. Chris Kelly, $39.42. Adam Swanson, $87.94. Man, I mean, there's a lot of orders we give around the last 6 days. So we got
4 per day.
I know we got a few more, and then we'll be done. Pat Gira is $264.33. Jeffrey Felter, $144.25. We got Skip Mertzer, $320.37. Ryan Paulson, $472.97.
On the cusp.
Dude, I know nobody's got 500 in here.
Nobody's
Not a
maxed
single
out.
500.
Nobody's maxed out.
We're
The
giving
500.
up to 500, by the way. Bravo. Well, I mean, do what you can do. That was $472.97 was close. Dale Van Adsall, $129.91. Cliff Roberts, $32.68. So that's all of the people. They got their orders, refunded them. They're gonna find this thing in their catalog, man. Like anticipation, super heavy. I can't. I want to order something. Find out what happens.
But you don't even have to. You don't even have to order to get in this thing. That's the best part. Like, hey, so you don't plan on making an order? That's cool. We still got you covered. You can still win. Throw stuff in your wish list.
Wish list it is. So we used to have you add carts, but what a pain in the butt that was. You got to unload your cart, reload your cart, whatever. So now goes your wish list, the stuff that you actually want to hope for, and it just sits there. And it doesn't empty otherwise, by the way, either.
Yeah, I've still got stuff in my wish list from years ago when I was shopping here.
Maybe you win. Marlon Murrow, $99.90. You won in reward points to buy whatever's in your wish list. William Henry, $469.93. That's super close.
Yeah, I know.
Should have put like another bag of fish food in there. Got the full 500. Gary Promux, $500 even.
He maxed out. Like I think there was a Neptune and some other things in there. So maxed out at 500.
Maxed out at 500. There he goes. Bravo, dude. You're the first one. You're a smart guy. Marcus Contenugo, 1999.
I know. I can't remember what was that. I think it was a plumbing fitting or something that he had in there.
Hey, but dude, you know what?
It's been in there. It was in there
plumbing.
since 2016. Now he can finally get it.
Awesome, man. Mike Simmons, $299.99, and Thomas Ryan, $13.99. Probably a similar thing. So, reward points. Going back to your accounts, guys. So, if anybody wants to join us, man, we're gonna be doing this stuff all month long. We'll just rattle it off every Monday, then we'll get to our actual show.
Yeah.
And so,
it was almost six. So we're day 6 in, and it's just under $6,000. It was almost $1,000 a day on average.
Step up your game. I was hoping to give away at least 30 grand in stuff by the end of the month.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're gonna build it up, man. Build it up. Like, just put it to Bob. Tell him, make it painful. Yeah. I mean, definitely the wish list stuff. Like, there's no reason not to have $500 in there.
Easy win.
If you want to take part, all you got to do is join the Preferred Reefer thing. There's like now a link like all over the place. The header, the footer, the product page, whatever. Yeah. And then you earn points all year round. You also earn 10x points during the sale here. Or you know what? We shouldn't even tell you what it's about.
I was just gonna say, like, why are we having why are we having all this for the month of May?
We're trying to debate whether it's Mr. Chili's birthday or anniversary or whatnot.
Whatever
I think it's probably birthday.
Probably.
But for those of you who don't know, Mr. Chili came into existence 15 years ago. And he was first with Reef Chili.
Yeah.
Then he poked his head over on MJ Mods. And then he poked his head over MJ Mods. We took maxi jets and like radio controlled boat props and like carbon fiber rods and made these little kits that you could turn your maxi jet into essentially a Tunes powerhead. And if you haven't been around a long time, like a Tunes powerhead was the only thing that you could use to create tons and tons of flow, cheap and affordable, but they were still like $250 a piece.
Yes.
Get 4 of those, $1,000 is a big deal. A couple of maxi jets and these little kits for like $30. You could turn it into that. It was a super fun project.
And then they started just making the jet, bringing their. Didn't they have the pieces afterwards? Like years later, they
they ruined it with that thing though.
Yeah,
it was a long story. But yeah, they did end up the pieces, but it's super loud, and they moved it to China to do it, and they ruined the Italian pump trying to do that. So whatever. But Hydor actually came out and created a much cheaper option for like $60, and that was the end of that. So then we went on to Two-Part Solution. Two-Part Solution was like Dow Flake, magnesium chloride.
twopartsolution.com?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you still have that?
Nah, forwards.
Oh, okay.
So, but Mr. Chili he poked his face up there.
Yeah.
And then eventually, you know what? We sold so much bulk stuff, it just became Bulk Reef Supply. and now Mr. Chili's there. And he's there at 15 years. He's been with me since my first tank. For those of you who don't know, Reef Chili came from me making homemade fish and coral food, chopping up clams and shrimp, and dumping all kinds of like golden pearls and cyclopods in there. And at the time, it was cyclopes. You know, that was really big. We put Selco in there and like scored the Artesian treat, Artesian blend rather of the phytoplankton, and I don't know. Although we sold it, or I didn't, I like sold it to the local club in little sandwich baggies and frozen stuff.
Just frozen, yeah.
I don't know, $20 a bag. It was good.
15 years.
Yeah, 15 years I've been doing it. So yeah, I don't know, awesome. So that's what we're celebrating. 15 years, giving away points, giving away orders. Somebody, you know,
you guys
actually
gotta get in there, fill up your wish list.
One of the people said on the Facebook poll, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be harsh on you, but on the Facebook post, man, why would you do this? This is stupid.
In the comments?
Yeah, they're like, hey man, we just like giving back. You know, like we just like it. He's like, this makes absolutely no business sense. Maybe it doesn't.
You're giving away tons of money?
No, it's the money that people actually gave us already. You give it back. And so, I don't know, maybe it doesn't, but in my mind, you guys all give to us all the time, and I don't know, we just give it back when we can, and it seems like we can right now.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? All right, well, there it goes. So we also have some questions today. Hopefully, Randy will link again down in the bottom to what they are. And so if you're interested and you just want to chime in on that specific question, we'll go ahead and do that. But I got some bigger news I haven't told you yet.
Here we go. Surprise again.
Yeah.
All right, what is it?
Okay, I decided on the tank for my house. And it's nothing that you even thought of.
We haven't thought, no?
Yeah.
Out of all that brainstorming days?
All the brainstorming.
Came up with something completely different.
So if those of you don't know, I moved into a new house, and my family's trying to decide on what kind of tank that we're going to put in the basement, and we're absolutely going to follow that whole story along on video and stuff. It'll be super fun.
Yeah.
At one point in time, it was going to be, there's this nook in the wall, there's a cutout. It's 9 feet long. It's 40 inches deep.
It screams tank.
It's like you can just slide a 9-foot, 40-inch tank, deep tank right into it. I'm like, oh, that'd be awesome. And then I thought, boring.
One-sided viewing.
Yeah, one-sided viewing. I can only see the front and snore fest. I just was so bored with it already.
If it's not an in-wall tank, then yeah. I think so.
Even then. And then we thought, okay, well, what if we go on the wall opposing it, we put in some in-wall framed refugiums, like a Xenia refugium or a clam. Clam refugium, or all these things. Oh, that would be cool. It's still boring.
Still boring?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think that's cool.
It would have been. But
it's not happening now.
Not cool enough. Okay. And then we decided, hey, we'll make a room divider. And so my personal favorite tank of all time is definitely a Peninsula style tank, right? And so I'm thinking room divider, right? Mm-hmm. And so 10 foot by 32 by 30 inches tall, right? Okay. And we'll divide this whole room up into a little poker area and a little TV area, right? Yeah. And not good enough.
That's not happening.
I don't know, not good enough. Man.
That was my favorite one.
Okay, so I like peninsulas. I don't know. We don't talk about peninsula, man. Do you like peninsulas?
If I could divide it, I like those types of fireplaces that separate a room. Like you can have fireplace in one room, fire in the other. So anything that you can look through and that's cool like that. Yeah. I also like 3-sided viewing because I had my 93 cube that I had made had the overflow in the center and the back. So, and it was butt up right against the stairs in the stairwell. So as you're walking up the back, you can see tank, and then you get 3-sided viewing on this little cube style tank. So anytime you can get more ways to look at the tank, I'm a fan.
I agree. And so for me, I'm almost right with you all the way.
Yeah.
So with the Peninsula tank, you get the look-through effect, right? Mm-hmm. And the look-through effect kind of creates an artificial sense of depth to the tank already, right? It creates negative space and stuff because you can see through it, and it just looks super, super neat.
You get 2 sides of Aquascape too, and 2 sides of ways to look at the corals.
Mm-hmm. If you get down to the long end too, one of the coolest views of any tank is also the long end. Yeah. So you look. Usually the peninsulas are a little longer than other tanks, and you can look down the thing, or similar size tanks anyway. So you look down, you see the long end. It's super cool. Gives you all that depth. And again, like you just said, I now have 2 sets of Aquascape essentially.
Yeah.
Because I can go to one side and get a certain type of Aquascape and coral, and I can go over to the other side of the tank and see an entirely different view. So it's almost like having 2 tanks.
Yeah, for sure.
And for me, man, like peninsula, like that is definitely what I wanted super, super bad.
But now you're not going to do it.
No, I'm not going to do it.
That sucks.
So, all right. And then there's like another cutout, right? There's actually 7 feet, like over by the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
7 feet by 40, right? So, again, I could have got 7 foot by 40. Then we were thinking, like,
not
hey,
a bad
man, we
tank.
could put 2 tanks, and there's a fish room in the middle, or like an electrical room that, of course, like I'd nerd out and put plumbing into,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So, I was thinking 2 tanks,
Okay.
right? And so, one of them opposing the other one, and we like totally different themes. Probably like SPS tank over here, and then my personal favorites like euphyllias and acans and stuff in the other one, right?
Okay.
And then probably eventually in-wall refugiums too, right? I mean, there'd be a whole bunch.
So you'll have a tank tucked into that one spot that says Screams Tank, and then you'll have a tank tucked into the other spot that Screams Tank. So you have 2
Well, I was
separate-
thinking it.
Yeah.
Okay, then we're going L, right?
I like L shape.
Yeah, L. So there's that 9-foot area,
Yeah.
right, that comes out, I think it was 40 inches. Then goes out, and then there's a 10-foot travel along the other wall, on the opposing wall of the fish room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be a 10-foot long travel for the tank, and then it would cut back over like another, it wouldn't be 9 feet because you'd minus the depth or whatever,
Right.
but this thing would be huge. You get to watch the fish, like kind of travel or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was talking to the guys over at Planet Aquariums about it, and like trying to see if this could be done. And we started talking about what it would like to ship this thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how do you ship a
I
tank
don't-
that's 10 feet long
single
by
piece?
8 feet wide?
And
Like,
you're trying to do it in glass, too?
maybe you could chopper it here from, I don't know. So you probably have to build it on site.
Right.
This is where my wife started. It's like, whoa.
Yeah,
This is
built
really
built
big.
into the house.
Yeah. Okay. And so I finally found what I want to do, which is none of those things.
Okay,
Right?
the
Okay.
suspense is killing me.
Okay. So on the other side of the room is a area that's already tiled, right?
Oh,
By the way,
yeah,
I'd have
yeah.
to tear out the carpet and tile it because I've ruined carpet
Yeah.
enough times, spilled on it enough times.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah.
like, I'm not going to do that again. If I start,
So-
I'll just tile it.
So it's like a little bar, kitchen, or dining-ish type
Yep.
place.
We
yeah.
were going to put like pinball machines or something over there, but
Huh.
not anymore now.
Huh.
Okay, and there's like, you know, this is a new house they built. Like we came in the middle, so I didn't really get any say in what goes anywhere. But there's like what they call the wine room, which is just an empty room.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but it backs up to the furnace room, which means that I can easily get water and power into there.
Oh, yeah.
So wine room, fish room now. Right? I already had another fish room on the other side of the room, so I don't know. And now I got 2 fish rooms that I don't know.
Huh.
And I already had them put power there.
Oh,
Too bad though.
just in
like,
case?
You know, you love your tank. You gotta go all the way.
Okay.
So sometimes your plans change. You gotta do something different. All right. So this is my big thing on tanks. Like before we get too far into this, like I hate putting them in the basement. Like I just hate, and it's one of the easiest places to put them, especially big ones because they're super heavy, and putting them right on cement slab is just like the easiest way to do it.
Right.
Upstairs, maybe on a huge tank, you're gonna have to like reinforce the floor and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
That you don't want to do. So I don't like putting them in the basement because a lot of people just don't go in the basement. You know, like
Yeah.
so you got this super awesome tank you put so much time and effort into, and then you just never get to see it because your family never spends any time down there.
Yeah.
Right? Now in this case, it's a walkout, so it's not really a basement.
Goes
I
out
mean,
to the
even though
yard.
half it's kind of underground, it sliding doors and you can go outside. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll probably more likely to spend some time down there. But then I thought, you know what? What if I put my office down there? You know, and so when I'm like writing scripts and stuff for Beers TV, like, and that's the only thing I ever do at the computer. So if I do that down there next to the tank, now I have reason to be in that room, and so I'll create a reason to be around the tank, which will mean that I'll have a chance to enjoy it, which will probably mean that it will also do really well.
Yeah.
Because I'll be there engaged with it on a daily basis.
Okay.
The tank will flourish. If it was hidden in my basement and I never went down there, it will probably like go to hell.
Okay.
You know, so like that is kind of the nature of things for me anyway. I need to be engaged in it on a daily basis, or if it's not in front of you, you forget about it. You know, I got 2 babies. I got one that's 9 months old and 2.5.
Yeah.
Like,
So then that kitchen area that's already tiled, that's going to be where the tank goes?
Yeah, so it's going to go along the whole wall. The wall, I think, is 14 feet long, right? And in that 14 feet, I'm going to build Chris Benner has told me that he's going to come out, actually. Chris Benner from Benner's Woodworking, he did the stand here. He does all kinds of custom stuff, including what I'm about to talk about. So if you are interested in anything like this, call the guy up. It's like Sticks and Stones Stands or Benner's Woodworking. Either way, you can find him. And what we're going to do is we're going to build in a nice little desk area there, know, and we'll probably put a little cabinetry so you can hide the screen when it's out of the way in your basement. Doesn't look like it, right?
Right.
And then I'm going to put the tank. And the tank is going to be 4 feet front to back deep, right?
That's like the 900-gallon WWC tank is 4 feet front to back.
Okay. Then it's going to be 30 inches tall.
Okay.
Right? And then it's going to be 5 inches wide. So it's going to be not like a cube or like a square, right? But like kind of a rectangle. And this is why I decided on this shape, right? So it's a 5-foot tank wide and 4 feet inch deep, right?
Okay.
4 feet.
5 by 4.
Yep.
Feet.
By 30.
By
tall,
30. Okay.
Right? Okay. So this gives me what I really like, which is I'm going to have 3 angles of viewing, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll have 4 feet inches, so I told you I like that look, the end, when you look down the end of the tank and you see all the corals for 4 feet.
Yeah.
Now I'll get that on both sides of the tank. And on the other side, man, so on 2 sides I'll get actually 5 feet of that view.
Right.
So it's look through plus it's look through of 5 feet. On the front viewing pane, it'll be look through of 4 feet. It's going to give you that sense of depth, and the fish are going to create super, super cool, like island type aquascapes where the fish can swim around. I mean, you're kind of limited, not unlimited, but you have almost any kind of fish in that popular fish that I'd want anyway, inside that environment.
Yeah.
Okay, and why I didn't go bigger, right, is because my arm is 30 inches long, right?
Okay.
And so I want to be able to, at least with a 1-foot tool or something, be able to reach every area in the tank. And so if it's 4 feet wide, or 5 feet wide, and then 4 inches or 4 feet deep, with a reasonable tool in my hand, I should be able to clean and maintenance the entire tank without some obnoxious amount of tools or like crawling inside the tank.
And you can get it through your door.
And I got sliding glass doors that I think I'll remove one way or another, but I think I can actually just take them off the track, and they'll give me 5 feet to get it through. So we'll be able to carry it in there. And it's shippable also.
Okay,
right?
yeah, true.
Which I'm sure made the Planet Aquarium guys super happy. They said L, and they're like, oh my gosh, man. For real, L? Like, but it's got to be cool. Okay, so now what's going to happen then is Benner is going to come out and build like a little bar area that goes around it, right?
So you can pony up to the tank.
Pony up to the tank, have your favorite drink or whatever you want.
I like those. There was one of the old fish stores here had a tank that had a long enough ledge on it where you can actually sit there and put your arm on it and BS with people. Yeah.
So we're gonna do it with stone. Like the same stone that matches like the little wet bar thing that's over there, right? And so because these things drip all the time, right? And one of the things I see all the time when you have the lip come out is it looks super good day one, but once it gets splashed on, it eats away the finish.
Yep.
And so we're gonna put some stone down there, so we don't have that problem. And it will match the whole thing from end to end. So if you want to, you can call Chris. I don't know how you find his number, but Benner's Woodworking, his website or whatnot. He hasn't officially 100% agreed to do this for me, but I don't know. I had a good conversation with him the other day. He was actually when I called him, he was at Bass Pro Shops getting us gear for the season with his kids. So
awesome.
So hey, you can go to him, and if you're looking for yourself, something kind of cool, and go beyond like your average stand you get at the aquarium or at the fish store. You can build something that actually matches the decor of your house for you. True. Take some pictures, and he'll even fly out and install it for you. I mean, that is sure it's not cheap, whatever it is. But
probably not.
Yeah, but you know what? People install bars and stuff in their homes and random furniture all the time. This one's, really, if you think about it, an aquarium's just another piece of furniture in your house that has the coolest thing ever in it.
Yeah, just live stuff.
Yeah. So, I don't know, that's my story, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think I could do with that. So we should expect like some kind of series.
Yeah. Well, so I talked to the Planet Aquarium guys, and like I'm twisting their arms to take part of this too.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll say, give me a thumbs up. Sounds like it. But what I think they'll do is they'll build the tank for me, right? And the stand. We'll get it into place. Then I'll take all the pictures for Benner and whatnot. Maybe Benner will even fly out and say hi. And we'll like decide how we're gonna build this whole thing. He'll build it at home. Like a month and a half later or whatever, he'll ship all the stuff in, install it. You know,
oh, cool.
You guys will get to follow along the whole thing, man. Like from the first from right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
So yeah, I don't know. I was just waiting. Like I liked the Peninsula idea. I liked the L idea.
I like the Peninsula.
And now I just love the idea of being able to like type my little reefing scripts and sit over here and see a 4-foot view of the tank sitting right next to me, going 5 feet deep, and just getting the inspiration, man, of what I love.
Yeah.
So
that's huge.
Yeah, I was just like
4x5.
I just can't wait.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, and like I like to make the basement fun too, you know. So probably have your average big screen TV or whatever, invite your guys over for football and whatnot.
Yeah.
And now you can have people can sit in the normal sofa or whatever, but also away and have your little cocktail or whatnot.
Cocktail on the edge of the tank.
Boom.
For once you can do that, because any other time I see those, it's a don't put your drinks on this. Don't touch it.
No, this is
It's made for that purpose.
Double fix. No, yeah. So absolutely. I don't know.
That's gonna be cool.
And my wife told me that I had to share this. Dude, it was her idea.
Oh, really?
I know. Like of all the things we were standing there talking about, she's like,
She turned around.
And we have this ugly table that's sitting over there, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "What if you had a tank that was about that size and we put it over there?"
Light bulb.
Boom. And she always tells me that I never like ideas unless they're my own.
Yeah.
Boom. She's wrong.
Yeah.
I loved it.
She's wrong. She's right, and
I didn't hit it right away. So thank
funny.
you, Melissa. I love you. And you put together, I think it's going to be the coolest tank down there. I'm going to love my new workspace down there. It'll be like a million years from now, I'm sure, as we plug along. But
I'm going to love having a cocktail down there next to the tank.
Boom. Well, you can come in. We usually go fishing in the mornings and stuff in the summer. So maybe we'll stop over, no cocktails, coffee by the tank, then fishing.
Yeah.
So right on. All right, well, we'll move on. We'll answer some questions here. Maybe we can answer a couple questions that are already up there, and then we'll go answer those other ones down there quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Boom.
Let's take a look here. How do you become a preferred reefer order? Oh, how do you become a preferred reefer? Man, you got to get in there, Greg. It's all over the place. So a couple places right from our website. Top of the thing, they've got it up there. It says earn rewards points, or I think that's what I saw today. Or
the big banner.
The big banner is one that says, "Hey, we're running this whole thing in May," and it all takes you to the sign up page, the Preferred Reefer sign up page.
So there's two things you need to do. First, you have to have an account, or we can't make you a preferred reefer, right?
There you go.
And then you find that little link, and there's a little orange button that says become preferred reefer. You hit it, and you're done. You're already there. And it'll actually say, up on top, it says, hello, Jerry, you're a preferred reefer.
Yeah, it'll verify it. Up there.
So if you find a little icon for your name, and it'll show. So
if you have any issues with that at all, just call us, chat with us. We'll get you set up too.
So there is a really good reason to never become a preferred reefer.
Why?
It's because you just don't like 10% of your order.
Don't like free stuff.
You don't like free stuff. You don't want your future orders to be cheaper. And you know what it is, actually, the real reason?
Yeah.
You just like funding BRS TV. Because, we get to keep the money then.
Bah humbug.
Yeah, so, you like to fund what we do here. Then do it. No, I'm just kidding, man. So, everybody that orders with us, you should absolutely click the thing. It's, free.
Yeah.
There's no reason. Actually, there's a guy on Facebook who said, I would love to be it, but I can't afford it.
To be a preferred reefer?
Yeah, he's like, I'd love to get my free wish list, and I'd love to be preferred reefer. And I told him it was free, and that you can actually get every single day. We're giving away $500 gift wish list. And he's like, oh, sweet. Usually these things you have to pay to be part of.
Yeah. No, that's silly.
Not today,
Why would
man.
we do that?
Right on.
That's how you become a preferred reefer, George.
All right, what's the next one?
Question about water levels. Why would I be dosing Alk every day but never calcium and magnesium?
Boom. Okay, so the first thing is there's about 7 times as much calcium as there is alkalinity in the water, and so the alkalinity will drop faster than calcium. The alkalinity test kits tend to be a little bit more precise or accurate in the range that we're using them, and especially like little checkers and stuff, or at least more consistent anyway. Accurate maybe isn't the word, but consistent they tend to be. Often you're easier to read and perform. So but over a super long term, if you're only using alkalinity and never calcium and magnesium, there's something wrong. And like I would say, the first thing is if what you're doing is define all known science, it's the test kit actually. And so I'd go question my test kit immediately. Or the way that I'm doing it. Yeah. One or the other. Yeah.
When in doubt, I always say, when in doubt, if you get some weird number or you get some weird test results, do it 2 more times, the same exact way, like meticulously the same way as the other times, and then average them or see if that one is an outlier, but the other 2 follow something different.
Yeah, so there's no reason why you should consume alkalinity and not any calcium. Magnesium consumes super, super, super slow, so I wouldn't be worried about that. Like in correlation, you just get lost in that matrix. So I would just replace the magnesium based on the consumption or in the ratio that like 20 ounces per gallon or not. So. But there's no scenario where you're going to consume a lot of alkalinity, no normal one, that you consume alkalinity, not calcium, over a prolonged period of time. So if that is the case, testing probably is your issue.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Will we be at Reefapalooza Chicago?
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Yeah,
so we're going to go to all the Reefapaloozas this year.
Next one is New York, the Sea Caucus area for the next one. And then I think the schedule after that is LA, and then Chicago, and then Orlando for MACNO.
Yep,
somewhere around there. I think that's the schedule.
I mean, if you're just as nerdy as us, we're also thinking about going to. There's like a video conference, like a YouTube conference in LA in
the
August.
Anaheim one, and then VidCon, I think it is.
VidCon in July. You can. I don't know, go learn something about YouTube. So you want to come see us there?
I mean, at that one I'll be starstruck because all I watch is YouTube. So it'll be like, oh my gosh, it's so and so, and it's so and so, and they've got millions of subscribers, and everybody's screaming to get their picture. And little YouTube BRS here.
Just prior to this live, I was actually watching Tim Smoyer, who does like videocreators.com or video creators like on YouTube, and does all kind of YouTube fun stuff. Teaches people how to use YouTube, and like I was watching him live, and I was all starstruck. I met him once by accident. Like I sat at a table at a different video YouTube conference. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, it's Tim. And so I was watching that whole thing today, and it was so funny because I asked him a question, and he answered my question. And then somebody else in the thing said, "Oh, bulk resupply. I love bulk.
Love your channel."
I'm like, "What are the chances, man?" Like, I couldn't believe it.
That's
that was what a weird thing. So yeah, I don't know. Cool. Geeky enough.
I've got some picked out here.
All right, let's pick them up.
Let's get onto some of those. This Uniseal or Bulkhead one. We're going to talk about that one.
All right.
So there you go.
There it is.
So Joshua's asking. I mean, he's making a saltwater mixing station, which a lot of people are doing these days, and it's really easy. Anyway, he was using brute trash cans, and he wanted to know if we recommend Uniseals or Bulkheads.
I'll let you go first, man.
Me?
Yep.
So, my answer is Uniseals. The curved surface of the brute trash can inherently means that a bulkhead, especially how small the curved surface is, the smaller the circle circumference, then the more curved that is going to be. So like a giant bulkhead like this isn't going to, unless you really crank it down, isn't going to like flatten out that curved surface. And even then, it's probably going to be unreliable. So you get a little Uniseal like this, you drill the hole and you shove that thing in there. And I have to say that this 90-gallon water reservoir behind us here that we use for RODI water has a Uniseal in the bottom of it. And it's been there's a valve on there, so everybody's pulling on it, twisting on it, doing all this. Not one leak from it.
I've never seen one leak, actually.
Yeah.
15 years using them. This little $2 thing, I've never seen one leak.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So for those of you who don't know, again, like he said, a bulkhead works designed for a flat surface, right? Screws on, makes a flat seal. So on a curved surface of something flexible, like a brute trash can, you can certainly crank it down to the point that it's flat.
Right.
Now, if you're going to do that, like, you shouldn't do that. But if you do that, don't do it near the bottom, because near the bottom where it attaches to the bottom, it's going to be harder and harder to make it like flatten out, right? So you're going to have to lift it up a little bit, which usually you want to suck out of the bottom, so it's a bad idea.
Right.
And some of these like water tubs though, these like those like, you know, roto molded or whatever they are.
Yeah, the Norwesco type deals.
Things. They'll have a flat part on the bottom.
Yeah, just a specific,
right?
made
it's
for that
designed
purpose.
for this thing, right?
Exactly.
Because this is obviously, you know, heavy duty, and probably the best solution is easier to replace and allows you to plumb right into it and whatnot.
All right. You know what? When I wouldn't trust a Uniseal probably is I probably wouldn't use a Uniseal on the bottom of any container. Do you think the pressure would be enough that it could potentially, like on the side, the pressure's not pushing down, it's kind of like it's pushing out, but do you think it's equal amount or more pressure on the bottom?
I think you're insane. I think it's the same.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You got all that water kind of pushing out the side or the bottom, like you're talking about an inch of water either way. The big part where I probably wouldn't use it is like when you're got a lot of pressure going one way or the other. But that's also kind of, actually this would probably hold better in most cases, but I mean, potentially you could create a leak if it was like pushing, you know, out one way. I've never seen it happen, but it could happen. So for those of you who don't know, the way that this works, it's just a little rubber seal. It's tapered. You drill a hole in the side of the trash can, and you squirt this guy in there, and then you shove a piece of pipe all the way through it. Right. And the pipe expands it out, and it is kind of hard to get it in there, so get prepared. Some people put soap or whatnot on there.
Yeah.
And so if you put some soap on it, it actually wipes kind of clean. So the pressure is so tight that it pushes it off. But you could certainly clean off the other, probably should clean off the other side. But yeah, I mean, it's like just a few bucks, and now it doesn't matter if it's curved. It's actually designed for curved. Some people actually drill holes in the side of like a 4-inch pipe to put a 2-inch pipe into the side of it with these things. So
leak free, that's pretty cool. You gotta clean the burrs after you're done drilling. You definitely want to like take a nice sandpaper, light sandpaper, get all the burrs out so you don't cut into the Uniseal. I like to on the back side of my Uniseal, if semi-permanent, it doesn't have to be permanent. Brute trash can's a good example for that. But you know, if I'm manhandling, or you know, if I'm like messing with that nozzle that's coming out of there, or doing different things with it, on the inside of my stem pipe that goes through the Uniseal, I like to glue on like a little fitting or something, or put a little fitting that will stop it from pulling all the way out of the Uniseal. I mean, you'd probably have to cut that off if you glue it in. You might be able to do some kind of threaded type thing or something.
I'll go the other direction. I'm not worried about that. And I'll actually use, sometimes instead of putting pipe in there, spigot fittings. You know, like a spigot, like Street 90 or whatever. So on those things, they have like, it's almost like buying a piece of pipe that already has the pipe connection piece in it. So on one side it's your normal fitting, the other side slides into other fittings. So you can take like a 90 Street 90 and just slide it right into here like it was a piece of pipe, and then you have a port, and they fit in there pretty tight. But you know, I don't know if you'd have enough room to glue anything on the other side.
Probably not.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, you probably could glue something on the other side a little bit, but if you really needed to. But in any case, man, that is what we would do. I would use this Uniseal. I like to use, can you use this? The answer is millions of people have done it. Should you do it? No. So I like to use the right tool for the right job, and then I usually get the right results.
Yeah.
So
and these are more cost effective.
And it's better and cheaper.
Yeah.
So they do make curved bulkheads, you know, but get ready to spend like $150 on one. So yeah, I mean that's not practical. All right, next one.
There's one question that we got from that one, and that was lumberjack or slumberjack. So no, can you go to the comments? So no bulkhead with the Uniseal.
Nope, this replaces the bulkhead.
Yeah.
Yep. So
it's just a way to get water to the outside from the inside.
All right.
On the bottom.
There we go. Next question.
pH and bleach. Go to that overlay there. There we go. So when bleaching live rock, do you pay attention to the pH? And Mike is thinks that I don't know because I haven't tested. So is chlorine much less effective at a pH as pH rises above 7.8?
I'm going to say this goes beyond my knowledge of chemistry and bleach, but like I'll just assume it's right. Yeah. So the reality is so what? The rock that's in there is going to and the water you use is going to inherently buffer the pH of the solution to some degree. This calcium carbonate rock that's in there. And it doesn't matter. After I dump in the bleach, I am not going to put any chemical in there to correct the pH. Yeah. And certainly, I'm going to do it outdoors, which has natural gas exchange properties. So while that may or may not be true, I am not going to make a correction to this because there's so many chemicals that mix with bleach that create like chlorine gas or maybe even more dangerous things than that won't just burn your lungs and hurt you. They could kill you. So, don't do it.
Scientists with pH, just not worth it. Like, it's going to oxidize the live stuff on there. And if you have to go round 2 because you think it's so many.
It's $2, man. Buy another jug.
Yeah, and do it again.
Yeah, and do it again. And add more. Yeah. So the answer is maybe, but don't do it anyway. So,
for sure.
For those of you who don't know, I mean, we don't have any other cure questions, right?
Not.
Yeah, so we might just talk about it just a little bit. And so, we got a few videos coming out. We did a natural cure, which is just soak the water or the rock in water for a few, anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks to get all the stuff. Just kind of naturally breaks down. You can speed that up by adding temperature and flow, and then adding aggressive types of bacteria.
Like waste away and care.
So, Dr. Tim's waste away, which is a live bacteria. And then there is Microbacter's Clean.
The Clean, from
Microbacter
Brightwell.
Clean from Brightwell.
Yeah.
So both of those things have aggressive scavenging type bacteria that will clean the surface of the rock much faster than just letting it sit there. So you can probably scale with water flow and the proper tool for the proper job with those types of bacteria. Probably scale it all the way down to 4 weeks and remove all of the organics on the rock and get it ready. So, most people wouldn't do that with live rock. You probably don't need to do it with Marco's or Reef Saver rock because the stuff is super clean.
Yeah.
I've never found any organics on any of our testing with it.
If you ever get rock from a friend or an old tank breakdown and things like that, sometimes people store this in water, which is cool because it is live rock, it's living stuff, but If it was me and I was answering a Craigslist ad or going on the local forums and then there's somebody with a whole bunch of rock. I'm tearing down my tank. There's a whole bunch of rock. I don't know what they had in their tank, so I'll buy it, but dry it 100%. Just lay it out in the sunshine and let it dry and let everything dry up and die, and then bleach cure.
I mean, unless it's your best friend and his tank was super stunning, had no pests.
Yeah.
So, but even people all the time shut their tank down. They have a baby, whatever. Life goes on, and then they decide to start their tank up again in 3 years. The rock was probably sitting on the garden or not.
Yeah.
And so it's time to clean it and get it ready. And hopefully you haven't sprayed pesticides or anything on it. And maybe the garden's a terrible idea, but you have it sitting around somewhere and. You need to use it again, or you bought dry rock. Dry rock's getting a little harder to come by, dry live rock that came out of the ocean. Harder to come by these days, but there's
popular names
some
are
little
Bucani,
sources of it. Yeah, Bucani's gone and Fiji's gone, and all that kind of stuff. If you have those kinds of things, then definitely got to get. There's tons. The Bucani had sponges and crabs and little mollusks and stuff in there. So it took a while to break all that stuff down. However, if you dumped in the bleach oxidizes a rock. And so people talk a lot about acid curing and bleach curing. And the thought process in most people's heads is acid's going to eat it away. The reality is it's not.
Oxidizing still?
Yeah. So the acid actually it just eats the rock. It's only going to be in there for 15 minutes or so. You can't if you left the rock in there for prolonged periods of time, it would just dissolve. So
we tested this on rubble and saw a weight percentage loss from the acid.
Yeah, we did a rock with best rock curing video or whatnot, and so you can look that up. But we did 1 gallon of muriatic acid to 10 gallons of water to 15 pounds of rock. And in 15 minutes, we lost 25% of this massive rock, right?
Just eating rock.
The interesting part is then I took it to 20 to 1, right? and we found that we only lost 2% of the rock. You know, so we reduced the potency of the acid, and it slowed it way down.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I don't know. That was what it's doing though in that case is in 15 minutes you're not eating all the organics up. You're dissolving the calcium carbonate.
Dissolving underneath of the organics, which then will
Kinda
inherently just fall off, or
kind of,
sort of,
like
fall
some
off.
of it will fall off,
Yeah.
right? The bleach, on the other hand, will oxidize all the organics on there. You let it soak for like a week, and will dissolve all the organics and not the rock, right?
Okay.
And so the best results did come from first eating off a portion of the rock with the acid,
rinsing
and then-
thoroughly,
yeah.
because this and that combined.
Yeah, don't
is
mix anything. You
not
gotta
good.
get it totally rinsed off and
Yeah,
clean, and then bleaching it. And those two combinations produced the best result of no organics at all. After really, we didn't see any spike after we did it.
Yeah.
So, but this is my personal opinion. You're not in a hurry. Do the natural one. You know, the bleach one's cool if you're killing like everything now. You know for sure, like spores or dormant algae or whatever. It's relatively safe. I'm still going to use gloves and eyewear and all that kind of stuff. I'm still going to do it outdoors. You know, you're using the bleach for its like unintended purpose. So definitely read up or watch some videos or whatnot on it. But like it's much safer than the acid for sure, right? And it goes a lot faster than natural. So with the muriatic acid, man, this stuff it's got like danger poison on the front, man.
The skull and crossbones is usually serious.
It's just like death, man. Harmful burns, fatal if swallowed. It will blind you, will burn your skin, man, like all kinds of things. So if you don't know anything about dealing proper safety with acid, and when you dump it into the water and then put the rock in, it's like starts foaming and it can ruin the cement and stuff that's on it. I would say, and I say this in the video, don't do it. Period. There are there's so few times where you need to do this, and if you're saying like no, it's awesome, I've done it before myself, and then you probably knew some safety, or you're just willing to roll the dice, one or the other. And bravo to you, but make sure when you're recommending it to other people that they have the same skill set that you have, because you don't want to be responsible for anybody burning themselves or worse, right?
Yeah.
Especially when there's way safer ways to do it. So part of the reason I did that video actually was don't do this. You're gonna catch me like 15 times in it. Hey man, don't do this. Remember when I said don't do it? I still mean it. Don't do this.
Yeah.
There better be a really good reason for it, because it's not like impossible to do safely. But if you've never ever touched acid, which is most people, I would say 99% of the people watching this have never bought a jug of muriatic acid or have any idea how to use it safely. If you're one of them,
I still haven't.
move on, man. So
I'll use bleach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or I'll get some like Reef Saver rock here where it just doesn't need any of that, and I can start cycling it.
I wouldn't bother curing the Reef Saver at all. I might soak it in some fresh water for a week, just like if there's like any dust or something like that. Stuff mined out of the ground from like a billion-year-old reef.
Speaking of which, because I had another question here, but I don't see it in the queue. But Reef Saver rock. What would you do to break this thing? If I got shipped, baseball or soccer ball size pieces, and I need smaller, this stuff is tough, rough. What's your go-to for breaking it up?
I'd go to the hardware store and get one of those big, like super thick chisels, right? Yeah. And the super heavy mallet, man. Like that's about all you're gonna probably be able to do. It kind of depends on the piece you get, but it's Reef Saver super hard to drill. Sometimes you get like a little bit more brittle piece, and it will actually drill well. But often it's like fossilized reef. It's
masonry bit would probably be, if you have to drill it would be the best way to go. It's like start with a masonry bit.
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of luck drilling myself. It's just such a pain that I've figured out different ways to make it stable. But for what it's worth, this stuff looks like it's full of holes and whatnot. At one point, it was actually just a solid brick of limestone. Fossilized limestone. And so what happened is low pH aquifers in Florida eat the holes over a millennia through it, and so it's actually super hard stuff in most cases. And But if I wanted to break it up, I've tried to throw it at the ground before, and it just like breaks off
The
pieces.
edges,
It like doesn't do what you want it to do. So what I'd do is
old chisel.
I'd look for a weak spot, whatever part looks the weakest, get a gigantic like masonry type chisel, and just hit that thing as hard as I can once, and it'll probably crack,
Yeah.
But don't be prepared; it might not crack the way that you want.
Yeah.
That's a good point, actually.
Do it
Because
on a hard surface too.
they sell the shelf stuff, and the shelf stuff isn't cheap.
Oh,
right?
where it's naturally in the shelves
Yeah.
and cut with the flat bottom. So the
that's
foundation.
the part. Is actually it sounds like it looks like it'd be natural the way it's done.
Uh-huh.
Except for they get it in like these giant cubes, I believe, and they have to machine it into these little shelf pieces.
Yeah, right.
And so they're chiseling and working at it, and so. Yeah, man, it's like $7 or $8 a pound, whereas this stuff is like $2.50 or
Right,
whatever.
right.
But this stuff they just kind of collect and clean. That stuff, man, somebody
Actively
is working it into the shape that you want to use it, and it looks sweet.
Yeah,
so,
it does.
Like,
It's worth it.
You know what? Like, it sounds like a lot. I'm gonna buy 100 pounds, and I could either spend $250 on this, or I could spend $1,000 on the other stuff, or I guess $800.
Yep.
I mean, it depends on how much money you have laying around, I guess. But you may have this tank up for a decade, and one of the things that makes the tank look the best is the aquascape. It's aquascape first, and then the corals in many cases, especially if you can get it to display the corals proper.
Yeah.
So, I mean, God, it's a lot more money, but it just if you have it always comes out looking way, way better. And also like the foundation pieces. So they also machine those and they cut them off flat.
Super flat bottom.
Yeah, they're just dead flat, which means that they rest on the bottom. And what it
No
kind of ends up,
tippy.
they don't tip at all. You can glue them together, and
Yeah.
it's super, super stable. And if you're
Those
on a both even sand or bare bottom, because it's super flat with it. It looks like it's just kind of like coming out
It
of
does.
the bottom of the tank.
I agree.
Like it's
Yeah.
natural in the reef. You can create little like islands with it and
Yeah.
stuff too that look real stable and they stay put and they're cool. You even glue it down or like silicone it down or whatnot.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
yeah, awesome. All right, what's the next one?
Well, we've got 8 minutes, and I guess Trident was the big question. So go to the overlay for Trident release. On the right, third one. There you go.
Oh,
So common question being answered. Is everybody who updated their Apex has some new choices in the tasks function, and that is for the Trident. I actually updated the 160 today, so that way I could do some calibration procedures on our Trident that we're running on the 160. But a lot of people are talking about it, and Terrence was talking to me about it today too. So
if you're paying attention to reef, I think we got in trouble today because they found some metadata in with the product page that actually had some information there about when it was going to be released.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
really?
so I'm sure Terrence is going to call me up and yell at me.
well, we don't have a specific date because that's probably the biggest question that everybody's asking is like, okay, so when is it? They've just updated the firmidware. When is it?
I got
And
a specific date, but I can't tell.
I asked Terrence, and he goes, "Well, you can tell him that he scheduled. He'll be here in like a week. I think next week or the week after to come talk to us if that's any consolation." And
So things updated, right?
Trident's in there.
Trident is like part of the firmware now,
Yeah.
right? Apparently, like Terrence is coming here next week. I don't know, man. What does that mean? What does it mean?
I don't know. Hey, but if you were interested,
double rainbow.
I did grab some screenshots of our Trident here. So look at the one that's called Graphs Trident. So this is the tile that you get on your front dashboard for the Trident. This is on the BRS 160. Now it says 10.99 alk. That is not our alkalinity in here. I just haven't run the calibration. So that's one of the things that I found about here. So as you can see, I can see the graph for alkalinity, calcium, and magnesium. As I drag my mouse across any one of those, it tells me what day, what time, and what level it was. And then I can click on this, much like you could click on like a dose or something. If I click it once more, it'll tell me how much reagent I have left. If I click it again, it'll tell me how full my waste reservoir thing is. And then I can keep clicking away. I can schedule, a manual test from this tile. I can do all kinds of cool stuff from this tile. Yeah, I got to calibrate it. That's why it's raising. So that's one thing that you can come back to us. That's one thing that I was surprised at with this thing. So when I was getting it set up, and I know I set up a new pH probe, or I know I set up any sort of like new testing type of equipment on my Apex, one of my first things to do is update firmware and calibrate. It's been beaten into my head, especially update the firmware, because I get flack by Terrence all the time for it.
And we stopped that phone call finally at one time, and there's too many. All right, dude, we're just
update the firmware every time.
I imagine the customer service just nailed that. No, okay.
But the calibration on this one was the one that got me. It's like, no, you don't calibrate it right off the bat. You actually let it run. Get some history time, and I think I'm at like 2 weeks of history, I think, on this one. And now they send you a calibration solution with known standards for all three, and you run the test and the calibration procedure on this one. So I'm gonna try that one out today. Got some other graphs, like some blown up graphs here of each one individually. Start with the Alk Trident. This is much like in your input log. So I have the drop down, and you can see that this is alkalinity. Obviously, I need to calibrate it because it was down in the upper 9s, and now it's swinging upwards. So now that it has this long history track, I can update it. But the drop down here, where you see Alk, you see the Trident symbol, and you see Alk 8. On that drop down, if I click the one of the drop down menus, the eyeball there, from this screen, you can come back to us. From this screen, I can set up alerts right here. So I can say if it's out, I can set up an alert range, and I can set up like a control range from there, and it'll navigate me to that too. So
for those of you who don't know, you're not only going to be able to get your alkalinity, magnesium, and calcium a few times a day, but you're going to get alarms if it falls out of it. You're also going to be able to eventually control your calcium reactor, your 2-part. It will automatically adjust your dose. I'm terrified of this, but I have no doubt that after the few trailblazers are out there, smooth the road for us. This is going to be the coolest thing ever, man. You're just going to have it manually adjust your calcium and alkalinity levels and dose for you.
I think we're going to learn a lot of things about the way the alkalinity and calcium and magnesium fluctuate in our tank daily, because I have no doubts that probably during the daytime when the lights and everything are on, our alkalinity consumption is different than at night. And what we've been doing so far is a steady dose to maintain a level, but now maybe we can optimize it to kick it up during the day, drop it down during night.
And what we know about a calcium reactor is maybe you drop or dose a little bit more, faster in the day and a little less at night, or drop the pH, lower the pH. 2-part, same thing. Maybe I'm dosing just during the day, and I want to keep it ultra stable and keep it there instead of letting it drop throughout the day. And then, also for those of you who haven't already heard, this mentality, man, when I turn my lights up, hey, I'm gonna go from 40% to 50%, or I'm gonna I think I'll expand my photo period or whatnot. If the alkalinity consumption goes up, thumbs up. You did something positive for the tank. You caused it more photosynthesis, or rapid photosynthesis, or longer photosynthesis, and it's probably helping the biology of the coral. I mean, there's a little bit of that statement isn't 100% true, but I think more true than not. If the alkalinity levels drop from you changing the flow pattern to increasing the light or anything else beneficial,
add a CO2 scrubber on there,
increase the pH of the tank, and it goes up, it's really good chance that the biology of the coral was a benefit. If you make the coral or turn the lights up or change the spectrum or do whatever else, and the alkalinity goes down, well, probably a good chance you hurt the biology of the coral in ways you would never notice. I'll give you a good example, actually. So in this tank, we put that fluconazole in there. And outwardly, you would say, I don't know, man, it doesn't really look like it hurt anything. However, it's killing photosynthetic organisms in the tank. Doesn't seem like it'd be good. And most people will tell you, man, they haven't seen a lot of negative things from putting fluconazole in, and they're using it to kill bryopsis. And however, alkalinity, as soon as we did it, man, started going up because the alkalinity went up, meaning consumption went down,
going down, right?
Which is a good indication that the coral does not like that fluconazole is in there. Not so much that it's ready to lose all its tissue and die. but also like telling you this is not my desired environment, right?
So the data on the graph I just showed you may not it may not be 10-9, but there's definitely it's noticing a trend of less alkalinity consumption because we're still dosing the same amount.
And he did.
But the alkalinity goes up.
He dosed that fluconazole powder, in there. So, maybe related to that one specifically. Absolutely. You're going to learn like so many things when you have this kind of like pulse in the tank. It's almost like you're getting like a little bit closer to being your like aquarium's vet. Like instead of a stethoscope, I've got like my alkalinity monitor on it. And now I know when I do something, like how the coral responds beyond just like looking at it and saying, "Oh, that looks good, awesome, thumbs up." Like no, I have a real-time monitor as to what I'm doing and what the effects are in the tank.
Well, hopefully, Terrence, we can get a few of these, and then you free up a whole bunch of time back there in the lab.
I know.
To
Send
run
me
all
like
these
87
tests.
of these things.
We need a bunch.
So like the same thing, like think about like dosing amino acids or something to the tank. What I'm adding is essentially energy
Fuel.
and protein and stuff to the tank. And so like when I'm putting foods like reef chili or whatever, and like when I'm doing any of those things, I should increase the rate of photosynthesis or provide the coral more, or not necessarily photosynthesis in this case, but add more energy and nutrients for the corals to be able to grow tissue and uptake calcium and alkalinity faster. And so that isn't 100% the case, but if I start dosing amino acids and all of a sudden my alkalinity drops, it's telling me the coral's consuming it faster. Thumbs up, you probably did something right. If it didn't do anything, like there's a high degree of likelihood if I put a bunch of stuff in the tank and it doesn't change the alkalinity consumption, snake oil alert.
It's not doing anything.
Snake oil alert, snake oil. Like, it's not doing me any good. It may be not total snake oil. It's just not giving me enough meaningful benefit to be worth my time or expenditure to do.
I just wonder if it's going to be, if that would be noticeable in a way that, like, okay, I added a whole bunch of food, and now I've got to dose 25 mils more per day of uptake, depending on tank size and stuff. Like, this one we dose, 60 mils a day of the concentrated core 7. I wonder if that type of stuff would be enough to, like, make drastic changes to our alkalinity.
It could be you're deficient in zinc, could be you got too much zinc or whatnot, and like dose some zinc or whatnot to the tank on some boom.
Yeah.
I'll give you a good example of this one, and like it doesn't correlate 100% to this, but like I was told at one point like Australia had a problem growing wheat, right? And they couldn't grow wheat, and wheat's a big deal, man. You gotta survive off of it's like a core crop, right? And so what they did is they went and tested all the soil, and then they found that the soil was actually deficient in molybdenum. And molybdenum's like an enzyme that controls the rate of photosynthesis within the organism. And so they just went out and sprayed the field with some amount of molybdenum, and then boom, wheat. Not only were they growing normal amounts of wheat, but they're actually exporting wheat now. Huh. So I gotta find out where that story was from. That gives you an example of hey man, my tank's deficient in molybdenum. My Trident test tells me that I should dose some. Yeah. I dose it. If I got my Trident here, then you could do it with a test kit too if you wanted to test a few times a day after you dosed it. But watching trends on a graph is much more satisfying.
Oh yeah.
And realistic, I should say. Yeah. I can know, man, the things I did to the tank benefited the tank. Mm-hmm. Bravo. So I just can't wait to see how this all pans out with the community, how they utilize it, because I think it's gonna, every once in a while there's something that just changes the way that we reef. This one's pretty expensive, so it probably won't do that for everybody.
It's helping. It'll help.
You know what will happen, man? Actually, is those that are willing to throw down the big bucks on this thing will share that information with everybody else. So hey, man, there'll be 15 guys that dosed Brightwell aminos, and all of them saw an increase in
and they also
yeah, hey, you know what? I double dosed it and it actually went down. So too much is like more isn't better, you know?
Well, that's fuels all those anecdotal results in which you get enough of those, and then BRSTV investigates it.
Oh, you know what, man? Like it starts to not eliminate, but like decrease anecdotal. Like put it in like corals grew.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of confirmation bias in there that I spent $400 on these products that like better work, right?
Yeah.
So no, like I saw an actual difference, and then Jerry did, and so did Jim and Jill and Sarah. They all saw the same things as we did. Like, all right, now you can share that information with everybody else. They don't have to buy a Trident, but they get the same results.
Yeah.
So actually, maybe it will actually really change the way that we all do this.
I can tell you it's quiet. Like I film back here with it running tests, and you can't hear it. Like there are other things in this room that are much louder than that. So I saw a couple questions about it earlier today. There was discussions in the Ask BRSTV Facebook page about the Trident, and everybody was concerned about, well, how loud is this thing? And it goes off multiple times a day. Tiny dosing pumps, all kinds of stuff. You can't even hear it. It's a nice little hum.
Right on, man. Well, are there any important questions here before we roll out?
Best way to remove aptasia. We're trying.
Hey, aptasia.
A couple
things. Let's pull that guy out.
Alex, best way to remove aptasia.
Okay, number one thing you do: don't kill it. I'm telling you, don't use Aptasia X. Don't
Calc
use
paste.
Joe Juice. I know we sell it, and I actually want to go tell them to stop. There's probably some reasonable way that you could use it, and if that's the case, then buy it. But
just make some mad.
You will kill it, and then it will probably spread.
Yeah.
So save your money, spend it on something different, and don't spread them. So if you see one, the best thing you can do is kind of like with your finger, just kind of coax it back into the hole, and then takes either some epoxy or like a little ball of super glue gel and smush it in over it, and it will die in there and be sealed up tight in its crypt, and you'll never see the light of day again. So that is the best way to kill an Aptasia. Do not kill it with lemon juice, all that kind of stuff. They just spread. And then we made the mistake here. I told the guys this is why we're never going to have Aptasia in this tank again, is because you're going to kill it every day. And you know what it did, man? It spread it just wildfire. And I knew better. I knew better, man. I don't know, man. I just thought, I thought you could hit it with a big enough hammer, and it just was stupid.
So now it's everywhere.
Yep.
But we're
going to get it. So the best thing you do is go buy some Bergia.
Yeah.
And so you got to get rid of the wrasse if you have a wrasse or anything to eat, Bergia or whatever. But and the Bergias aren't super cheap, and you probably need 10 or 15 of them or whatnot. But the Bergia will go through and they may not wipe it out 100%, but they will get it out. You can talk to the Bergia people. If you search Bergia, there's 2 companies, Salty Critter and I don't know, or Salty Underground or something or another.
Yeah.
And
their pictures of the Bergia that they have for product photos, for Bergia photos, are of Bergias surrounding an Aptasia, piece of Aptasia. Yeah. I was trying to figure out what that picture was, and I was like,
you get 2 sizes, by the way. The small ones, he says, actually eat them faster than the big ones. The big ones, however, breed. And so, you try to get a mix of the both. The little ones, however, you have super, super high flow, they'll blow off the rock and get chewed up. So, that's just kind of the idea. So, if you got that, man, some people have luck with peppermint shrimp. We have, I would say, of the 10 times I've tried peppermint shrimp on an Aptasia infestation, it's maybe worked once.
Yeah. Even if you throw 200 at them, it's still hit or miss.
Yeah,
if you got a higher energy reef and you're feeding a lot, and there's an abundant source of food for these things, there's no reason why they'd really want to eat Aptasia anyway.
Part of it also, if they got enough food, then they don't go after it. The other part of it is the peppermint shrimp tend to hang under overlays and stuff and do the little sway deal. And they rarely travel the whole surface of rock, even at night, trying to eat everything. So and they like to eat the small ones rather than the big ones. And I'm sure there's 15 people raising their hand. I wiped out my infestation with some peppermint shrimp, and then there's 8 million of you that said that never worked for me. Bergia apparently, I haven't had a single report from anybody where they didn't work, other than if they're in a scenario where something in there will eat them. And so in this specific tank, this is a great actually, just for an offshoot of this. So we have a wrasse in here that we need to get out of here before we buy the Bulkheads.
6-line.
6-line in. So anybody who knows, like, try to remove one of those, good luck. One of the things Jeremy over Brightwell said was turn the red lights on. And so in your LEDs, most of you nowadays have some kind of red channel.
Completely red.
Yeah. And so have it like this, and then get another setting that's only red. And you flip it over to it,
around.
all of a sudden the fish like freak out and they just kind of get paralyzed. And they can't see the red light, and so they just kind of like get paralyzed, and you can scoop them out. Now, like if you spook them once doing it, all of a sudden they kind of know to like get the hell out of Dodge when the red light comes on. But for a lot of you, I think actually we were able to turn the red light on from the Radions, or the Kessels rather, that are in here. And I was able to put my hand in there and scoop out the clownfish, man. You couldn't see my hand or net anything right in front of him. So, like,
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, the red light's super cool idea for catching fish.
Yeah.
The 6-line though likes to live inside the rock.
Travels inside of the staghorn corals.
One day, man, we'll get them, and then we can buy those Bulkheads. All right. Any other questions in here we want to move? Let's see here.
One more in there.
Would you need to cure dry rock? Oh, we covered that already. You can cure it if it's got organics all over it, but I wouldn't cure like Reef Saver or like the man-made rocks, like the real reef stuff. I wouldn't bother curing that one.
Patrick wants to know, putting aside a Hannah, what are your preferred Alkyne calcium test kits?
Salifert. So
Red Sea.
Red Sea. All right. Either one of those things. And you know, I like the Red Sea's little bottle. I stopped using the titrator at some point. It was just like I still like the little bottle better than the little plastic thing that comes in the Salifert one. But the plastic bottle or the glass bottle, and then I just use this syringe. I just find it easier. Let's just nail down. There's like 8 of these questions. We'll just go through them speed.
The Red Sea Peninsula has one return plumbed. How could you create redundancy if I choose to buy it?
We didn't ultimately.
I think we talk about this in the flow video, in the BRS 750 XXL, BRS WWC 750 video on flow. We talked about this, but more so we talked about it in the live stream around that episode, which should be labeled something the same in our playlist, where we specifically talked about how to try to create redundancy with a single return line, and the redundancy ended up being just buy a pump, like it was an expensive one, but buy the Abyss that is just known for longevity and has a 10-year warranty. And so I mean, when they back it up like that, then that's probably redundant enough that it's going to work.
Short of that one, the Varios pump I think is the next most reliable that we've used here, and a little bit more reliable or affordable. But the Abyss is the Abyss,
Yeah.
But yeah, so. There isn't really plumbing for it to do that. You could drill it, go ahead. And I mean, and one of the beauties of buying a tank like that, though, is you don't have to drill it.
All ready to go.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
That's probably the pump. I just don't know if I would drill, and I probably wouldn't. No, I don't know if I'd come over the back with my, some like.
The tank like that, man, I'd just buy a really nice pump. And I mean, you might have an apex or something on it too, so it would tell you the moment that it failed, and you could do something about it.
I mean, that's like wattage alarms on the apex or anything like that. Maybe even a flow sensor from in between the return lines, so that way you can monitor the flow rate, you can monitor the power consumption, and at any given time those things go, you can do something about it. Hopefully.
Yeah. So if it was unlimited budget, Apex and Abyss. If a more reasonable budget, I would go with the Varios and then the Apex EL, which will give me the power monitor I'm looking for and solve that thing. But you can also drill it. Like, I just don't see a lot of people doing that on a tank like that.
Yeah.
All right. A couple more here. Are you guys going to Macna? Yes, we are. We're going to go to Macna, all the Reefer Paloozas, and if you didn't hear, we're going to, I mean, I don't know if we're really going to VidCon or not, but I was watching it earlier, and I'm like, man, we should go to that thing. And what's the advantage of dosing both Calc and soda ash? So Calc is the cheapest possible way to add calcium and alkalinity to the tank that I'm aware of. And
It also has
Yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate statement. It's the cheapest way.
It has I'd say it has a happy side effect of the pH boost, probably more so than soda ash.
Yeah, double, I think.
Yeah, and soda ash, you probably can extend that out a little longer. Calc, yeah, you mean you could do a drip and get the same effect.
Yeah, so what people will do usually in this case is they'll dose calc until they can't anymore, and then they can either switch all the way to 2-part, or they can start supplementing with extra 2-part, being soda ash. And I will just say that most reefers, I would just say switch over to the 2-part and avoid the complexity of trying to do 2 things at once.
Yeah.
If you're an experienced reefer, go ahead and use both, because really the savings that you're going to have between the two is going to be like $2 a month. And it probably ain't worth the complexity, because the Calc-Wasser's potency will change over time to various degrees. Also, the amount you dose changes very frequently with the amount of evaporation that's in the room. And so I just find trying to save the $2 adds a complexity that will probably cost you way more than $2 when something dies later on. So I'm about to glue my Aquascape. What does BRS use? Go ahead.
So glue. We have the BRS extra thick gel works perfect. I mean, you give it enough time to cure. Now, if it's just Aquascape. I was answering something about there was the same question on the Ask BRS TV this morning. I was talking about, and somebody had gotten super glue accelerant in their tank and was wondering if it was harmful or not. And I thought back to all the times it's been used here for securing frags on plugs. Chad made an Aquascape with a whole ton of BRS super glue gel, and then hit it with the quick set accelerator, and then let it sit, and then dropped it down into the tank. So and it was enough to hold. You like to do a combo of epoxy and super glue together?
No, not really. But I'll tell you the accelerant thing. I can't tell you reef safe 100%, but I can tell you my own experience. Back when I was making those MJ mods that we were talking about earlier, which is like the little plumbing fitting with the radio control bolt prop and a maxi jet. So, we were testing 8 million different configurations of this thing at the house, just constantly trying to tweak it and use different boat props and whatever. I got time to glue, wait for it to glue. Yeah. So, I mean, I bet you I put 2 bottles of that stuff, spray, test, And so it never ever hurt. The 90-gallon tank that I had in there was filled with all kinds of different corals. I'm not saying go dump 2 bottles in your tank because that'd be stupid, but
for the purposes of what you need.
I still don't like to use any chemical. If you give me an option, I would just still let it dry. I wouldn't use that stuff. But I never had a negative response, and I even use this stuff from the hobby store.
Yeah.
So it wasn't Reef Accelerator, which doesn't really exist.
No, we've got some.
It's a different sticker on the front.
Yeah,
All right, man. So what I use for this is globs of glue. So I like to take big chunks. Sometimes I use that Jurassic gel, which is actually for paleontology, but you can put big globs of it, and then I try to find out where the 2 rocks are going to touch each other and just kind of smoosh it around there. And it's not going to hold it the same way that mortar and stuff does, but what it will do is create kind of a locking point for it so that it won't fall off of that area. And on top of that, it is the lowest profile and the least ugly.
Yeah, I mean, it looks natural if you find a place where puzzle pieces together, and then you pull that apart, super glue those pieces, and put it back together. It looks like
you'll never see
one rock to another.
Yeah, and so the problem with the mortar, the epoxy, purple, gray, whatever one you use, smooth spots. It's a different color. It is hideous. I will never ever use that. I will burn through gel. I'll buy tons and tons and tons of gel and use that to hold the Aquascape together. Yeah, and you couldn't get me to use epoxy.
Yeah, I've done softer type rock, the natural stuff. Probably not this one, but you might be able to get away with. I found fiberglass rods, and so I wanted this piece that jutted out on its own, and it had to support some weight. And so I put 2 or 3 pieces on there, but I drilled a hole through them and found fiberglass rod, which it's easy to find up here because we have driveway markers because of the snow, and they're usually fiberglass. You can get they're orange, but there's a variety of colors you can find. but you can cut them, break them, do what have you, and fit them to pieces. I found that I went to the hardware store, couldn't find the driveway markers, but I found chimney sweep rods are fiberglass rods. They were natural brown color, so you really couldn't see them at all. And then I cut them into shape. And
if you cut the fiberglass rods, a diamond wheel and a Dremel is
Yeah.
the best thing. Otherwise, they just spider all over the
yeah,
place.
it's
So
getting your fingers.
Like if you don't want to buy a Dremel for $80, like Harbor Freight Tools or something, you can get a Dremel with like a kit of 80 different tools or whatever with it for like $16.
Yeah,
Like
it'll get you.
how Harbor Freight, the manufacturer, and like like the people that made it in China and shipped it here made money
Nobody
on that
makes
thing
money.
for $16. I have no idea, but that's definitely, if you're gonna not use a Dremel for anything else, like other than maybe reefing, and
Yeah.
it's gonna touch salt water, which means it's gonna die.
It's
real
gonna die,
fast.
but it's $16.
Yeah, so Harbor Freight was .com or
Cool.
something like that.
Yeah.
Where I'd buy it.
Awesome.
All right, is there any more? Or we're done. When you started using no-pox, I got cyano. Is this normal? Stop the treatment, but
Here it is. Should I
but
push through it?
should I push through it? Well, so I
It's
mean,
carbon dosing.
Carbon dosing is a crazy thing, man.
Starting to fluctuate different. I mean, you're feeding bacterias. You're starting to off balance the bacteria in the tank.
People use carbon dosing to rid themselves of cyano. So, if you start dosing it and it solved it, this is my take on most of those types of not just like the carbon dosing, but like if you run into cyano, is don't freak out. People run into these things all the time. As long as it's not covering corals or hurting anything, just let it be. See if it just kind of works itself away over the course of a week. But the nature of changing the nutrient load of the tank in any way is often it allows some organism a chance to explode where it was being beaten back before. So, maybe just create the perfect scenario where cyano all of a sudden could grow. It could have been just also like bad luck. It could have been something else you did.
Yeah. Not directly tied to the no-pox.
Yep. So they did 5 other things that week, or maybe even many weeks before that actually created the scenario where the little bit of no-pox would do this. So I would say that is not normal. I don't personally dose carbon. I just find other ways to remove nitrates.
Yeah.
Refugium super easy. A scrubber is super easy. A well-running skimmer is reasonably easy. A good water change schedule is reasonably easy. Coral uptake is easy. But the number one easy? Stop feeding so much. And the end of story. If you got nitrate and phosphate that are inevitably rising, you got 2 options. Increase the filtration system or stop feeding so much. Both of them will solve your problem. Essentially, the carbon dosing is a method of increasing your filtration, biologically. So
Right.
that is a method of that. It's just so many unknowns as to how it works. It absolutely does work. It's just a little bit more Wild West than like growing some Cato. Cato grows, uptakes nitrate, like known science.
Done. Yeah.
Like it probably actually uptakes ammonia, more likely actually. But and in fact, if fighting plant growth with plant growth, if you're trying to beat back algae, you may have not ever even had a problem with nitrate and just with algae, and you were just trying to get it down because somebody told you to.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to fight algae, keep in mind that bryopsis specifically, you may have no nitrate at all in the tank. It's probably because it's uptaking the ammonia first, before it actually even turns into nitrate.
Right.
So one of the best ways to probably combat that would be to grow refugium and grow algae in your sump, and preferably with a pretty strong light, about the same brightness as the one in here. Otherwise, it won't be a very combative solution. But yeah, fight algae with algae rather than try to pick it up later.
Yeah.
All right, that calls it for a day. We went way over, sorry. You had to listen to us ramble for extra 24 minutes, but I had fun today. Hopefully we'll give away more stuff. And for those of you who don't know, where's my card? Oh my gosh.
I'm putting these in 4 orders every day.
4 orders every day, 120 of them this month. Orders are free. You find this in your catalog. Your order is free. Go ahead and put $500 in your wish list on our site, and that can be free every day. There's 30 of those wish lists that we're giving away this month. You just got to be a Preferred Reefer. So create an account on the website. If you already have one, perfect. Then just find the Preferred Reefer link on the top and click it, and you're now a Preferred Reefer. And drum roll, please. You get 10x reward points. So if you don't like free stuff, donate it. I don't know, man, but like you might as well take it from us. No reason to let us keep your points. So take the 10x points and win stuff. And since last Wednesday, we gave almost $6,000 worth of orders and wish lists away. I think it'll be probably 30 grand by the end of the month. If you want to be part of that 30 grand, Preferred Reefer it.
Find your winning golden ticket, golden marker, winning ticket in the catalogs. So if you're getting your orders, open your catalog.
And if you're Willy Wonka, please don't sue us over his mentioned golden ticket. All right, see you next week.
See ya.